Hi everyone, it's Lisa from IDreaminSoap. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making cold process soap curls. I really like soap curls, they're kind of jolly little things. And one of the great things about them is that you can take your time to work on a design that you really want to do and make all sorts of swirls and patterns and pictures and not have to worry about trace accelerating and mucking up all of your plans. Now, in this video, I do use a slab mould. Now, if you haven't got a slab mould, that doesn't matter. You can either make yourself one, and I've got a handy video that will help you with that. I'll link it in the description. Or you can just use something that you've got lying around. Something as simple as a cardboard box would be absolutely perfect. As long as you line it with some freezer paper, then you're good to go. I'm sure I've got one around here somewhere that will be just the right size. Unfortunately, mine seems to be occupied. I really hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, it would be brilliant if you gave me a thumbs up and maybe leave a comment in the comment box below. If you'd like to see what I'm making in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? There'll be a handy icon that you can click on all the way throughout the video. Or if that doesn't show up on your screen, you can always click the subscribe button at the end of the video. Come on, let's go make some soap. I'm going to start this soap off by making a separate block of soap that I'll use for the soap curls. The colours I'm going to use are Purple Passion from You Make It Up, Fluorescent Neon Pink from Mike and Mama, and some activated charcoal from the Soap Kitchen. All of these suppliers are in the UK. I've calculated the lye and oils I'm going to need for each individual stripe of my soap curls, and I'll make these up as individual batches. So I'm starting off with my purple layer first to go on the base of my soap curl, so I'm just going to bring this up to emulsion and then to a light trace. I'm going to add my fragrance oil. Now the fragrance oil I'm using today is that good old favourite black raspberry and vanilla, and I get mine from Sensory Perfection in the UK. And then I'm just going to pour it into the base of my mould and leave it to set up until it's a consistency where I can scrape it and make some nice ridges in it. And then I'm just going to scrape the top of the purple layer with this comb. Now you can get these from sort of cake decorating supply stores. I've just made my own. You can just cut them out of plastic sheeting or even out of cardboard if you only want to use them sort of a couple of times. The batter I scrape off, I'll put to the side in a little mould, cover that up, and that'll make some soap dough for future use. And then I'll just clean down the sides of the soap mould, and then I'll get ready to start the next layer. Then I'll make my pink layer up in exactly the same way, and as soon as I'm happy that those ridges are fairly firmly set, I'll pour it into the mould and scrape once more. And then finally I'll finish off with my black layer, and I'll just leave the top on this flat. And then as normal, I'm going to cover and wrap the soap and pop it. I'm going to pop it in the oven at 170 degrees Fahrenheit, 75 degrees centigrade. Turn the oven off as soon as the soap goes in. Now for soap curls, it is actually really important to try and get it to gel if you possibly can, because the nature of forcing gel makes the soap curl more bendy and more pliable, so less likely to crack when you're actually going to turn it into a soap curl. So the next day I'm going to unmould my soap curl bar. Looks like some of my scraping was a bit wonky there. Never mind, it won't show in the final bars. And then I'm going to use a vegetable peeler to run along the bar and create my soap curls. Now you can use a variety of things. I find vegetable peelers are good. You might need to muck around to get one that gives you a good thickness. You could use those sort of cheese planers that you've got, or even just a normal soap planer. It is best, as I say, to muck around, and sometimes you'll want thicker soap curls, sometimes you'll want thinner ones. Now the advantage of making a thin bar of soap here is that I can completely get my vegetable peeler over it and make a nice soap curl. If that bar was any thicker, then I just wouldn't be able to use my peeler. I made my soap curl bar slightly wider than the final bar of soap that I want, because I'm going to have to plane these bars at the end. But it does also mean that I can trim them a little bit, so that some of them you will see the purple bit, some of them you'll see the black bit, and some of them you'll see sort of a stripey effect going through the bar. It's always really helpful to use either a pen, pencil or some sort of rounded stick to help start the curl off as well, and then make various different curls. Sometimes roll them all up one way, sometimes roll them from two different ways, from two different ends, or maybe just do different sort of shapes. And then when you've made enough curls, you can start popping them into your slab mould. And once you're happy with the design, you can now think about making the batter to surround it. Now I've weighed my mould and my liner. And so now what we can do is we can reweigh that with the soap curls in, and we can see how much weight of soap we've already got. And then just like when you use any embed, you'll take that total weight of your soap curls, you'll times it by the oil percentage that you have in your recipe, and then you'll take that away from the batter that you want to pour into your mould. So I've now weighed out the correct amounts of lye solution and oils that I need, and I'm just warming my lye solution slightly so that both items are between 80 and 90 degrees. If I have my lye cooler, say at room temperature, I tend to get a false trace. I warm my lye by popping one jug inside the other, and can you see my two different colour rings I've got at the bottom of the jugs? The red one I always put my lye in, the blue one I always put my warm water in, so I know which one is which and I throw the correct one away. And then once I'm happy that my temperatures are great, I can then start making up my batter. Now it's really important for the remaining batter here to just be a very light trace. If it's any thicker than that, you're going to find you're not going to be able to get the batter in between the little bits of the soap curls, and you'll end up with lots and lots of air bubbles. My soap batter is just going to be white, so I'm going to colour that with titanium dioxide. I use my dispersed titanium dioxide at a rate of 1 tablespoon per pound of oils. I'm going to use a squeeze bottle with a really narrow spout so that I can get right down inside all of those soap curls. Now the reason I'm weighing it is because I want to know how much fragrance oil to add to each little bottle. And once again, once I know the weight of the soap batter in my little bottle, I will times it by my oil percentage so that I can put my fragrance oil in at 5% per pound of oils, not total soap batter. And then lid on and give it a good shake, and we can start filling in our soap. Now I've deliberately used quite a small bottle here because although my fragrance oil doesn't accelerate badly, it doesn't slow trace and it doesn't stay fluid too long. So this enables me just to add a little bit of fragrance oil to a little bit of batter at a time and keep everything nice and fluid. Also, you can see I'm just using a little wooden skewer, and that helps me to pull apart the soap curls and then squirt the batter right down inside. So I'm just going to carry on doing this and refilling my bottle with my batter and my fragrance oil, and repeat again and again until I'm full up. As I get right towards the top, I then will revert to just using a jug, because I'll be happy that I'm not going to get any more bubbles. And then I'll just finish off by smoothing over the top. I'm going to remove any sort of excess bits of batter now, because otherwise I'm just going to have to do a lot of planing at the end. And this little bit of white soap batter that I'm scraping off, again, just going to use it as some soap dough later. And then I'm sure you know the drill by now. Cover it, wrap it up and pop it in the oven to C-pop, 170 degrees Fahrenheit, 75 degrees centigrade. Turn the oven off as soon as it goes in and leave it there till the next day. I left the soap in the mould for about 24 hours and then I've unmoulded it, and I'm just dividing it up and marking it into 9 bars, so 3 bars across and 3 bars down. I don't have a loaf splitter, but I have made this sort of U-shaped frame. It's essentially just to give me a nice straight side so that when I run my wire cutter down, I get a nice straight bar. And then I'll take those long skinny bars and with my normal soap cutter just chop them into 3 to get my final bars. And then the faces of the bars will need to be planed, and you can plane them top and bottom to reveal the design on both sides. Now it's typically best to leave them for a day or so before you actually plane them. If you try and do it when they're soft, then you end up denting the bars as you try and push them through and it all gets stuck in the planer. I tend to like to have something flat to push the bars with, and here I'm just using sort of like a drinks coaster to just push those bars through so I don't damage them. And then I'll just finish off the bars by planing the sides and beveling the edges. And all these scrappy bits I'm going to put to the side, and I'm going to use them to turn into a confetti soap. And then some pictures of the bars once they've been planed. And you can see how the planing has brought out the colour of the curls and the nice stripey effect on the ones that we've cut where the zigzag crossed the cut line. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, it'd be great if you left me a thumbs up. If you've got any questions or comments, then pop them in the comments section below. I'm very good at responding to people, so I will get back to you. If you'd like to see what I'm making next, why not subscribe to my channel? And if you ring the notification bell, you should receive a notification whenever I upload a video. Thanks for watching everyone, and happy soaping!